The stock market is the ultimate counter against inflation. All those dollars that I would invest into a car, I invest into investment accounts. And guess what? That's a way better investment. And if you live in a big city like Charlotte or Denver or New York City or Dallas or Atlanta, any mid-sized city, you are functionally broke on Social Security alone. You can't rely on it to pay all your bills. Welcome to the Wealth Help Desk. Today we've got 3 awesome topics. The first one we're gonna talk about is your net worth. What are the hidden things that you can use in your net worth for the good and for the bad? Second, we're gonna look at the car. Is your car costing you $1.5 million if it's only worth 30 grand? It might be, and it might not be. We'll find out later in today's episode. And lastly, we're gonna look at who the responsibility of your financial future relies on. Is retirement on you, or is Uncle Sam coming to save you? Find out more here on the Wealth Help Desk. Let's get in the first one. Your net worth number is a lie. You think you have $800,000 in the bank, but you only have about $430,000. And let's look at the math on how you got there. So, what is your net worth today? I think a lot of people use a lot of different apps. I know I use NerdWallet, and when I go into NerdWallet, I can plug in everything I own. I can put my cars, I can put how much equity I have in my home, because I don't own my home outright, I've got a mortgage, and so how much equity do I have on that loan? And then I've got stuff, I've got a computer, I've got a lawnmower, I've got all kinds of different tools in the shed that need to be organized right now. And I've got a plethora of other things that go into my net worth, but how accessible is that cash really? And when we talk about net worth, what are we trying to do? So I'll tell you, the first one and biggest one is the house. So say, I'll actually use real numbers for this one. I have a house, we bought it about a year ago for $450,000, and we put $60,000 down. And so I still own about owe about $390,000 on that house. Now, I have $60,000 that's kind of tied up into that payment, right? I could take a loan on the equity of that to get that cash out quickly. But why would I want to do something like that if I have cash to be able to pay for things, right? And when we talk about net worth, we are talking about how much of your net worth is liquid as opposed to locked up. So I currently have $60,000 locked up in my house. So somebody, if I needed to pay $60,000 for something, maybe I got into a car accident and needed surgery, I had to get my leg amputated. God forbid, that would be awful. But if I did, I would have to maybe do something like that. You wanna avoid those moments, and you also don't wanna count that net worth towards like your retirement. So like if you retired tomorrow, I'm not gonna use the $60,000 of equity I have into my home on my potential retirement funds because they're illiquid. Illiquid meaning they're kind of stuck. It's really hard for me to pull that money out of there without moving a lot of things around and making my life more complicated than it needs to be. And I think a lot of folks think that when they own their home outright, so in 30 years, I've paid off my loan on my home. I have $450,000 in assets. Maybe it's appreciated. Maybe it's $500,000, maybe it's $550,000 by that time. Well, I'm still not going to use that number towards retirement funds. I'm not gonna take that number. I'm not selling my house. I'm not moving. I'm not going to say, hey, let's take a loan out against my house that I own currently. No, absolutely not. That's money that maybe I have $550,000 and I could sell my house and move into a smaller house and then take those dollars and use them towards retirement. But ultimately, that's probably not something I'm gonna do. So when you think about this calculation, don't use your home. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You can't invest equity. And if you sell, you pay 5 to 6% in realtor fees, you have closing costs, you have moving costs. Your net may be $100,000, but you still have to live somewhere at the end of the day. What about your retirement accounts, right? We have a plethora of them. We have IRAs, 401ks, whatever. The $300,000 401k, the government already owns 27 to 37% depending on your tax bracket. So you're already gonna take a haircut on your 401k. So if you're in the NerdWallet app, which is what, like I said, what I use, you might have an IRA account that's got $150,000. Well, you should assume you're not gonna see 25% of that. So is your net worth really that number? What about the car, right? And so if you have a truck, you have a $40,000 truck, and it's $40,000 on your balance sheet in the positive, no, it's a depreciating asset. Every year, every mile you drive, every way you go with your truck, you're gonna lose a little bit of money. So it's depreciating $5,000 to $6,000 a year and might be worth $18K in 4 years. It's not an asset. It's a liability dressed as an asset. The liquidity test is what really matters. The real number. How much could you access in 30 days without disrupting your life? That means not selling the house. That means not moving the IRA money around. That means not selling the car. And that's the number that you're going to use in retirement, because retirement isn't this number. I used to think growing up that if I had $1 million, I could retire on that. That's not really true, because depending on where that $1 million is, if there's $500,000 in a house and a bunch of money in a car, maybe $50,000, and $200,000 in IRA accounts and $300,000 in a Roth account, well, the only real accessible one is if I'm above the age of 59 is my Roth account. That's tax-free money that I can take out right now. And I think the mistake that a lot of folks make is they put it everywhere. Their money is in all these different places that is illiquid and you can't use it. And I believe that the best account that you need all of your money in is the Roth IRA. It's that account that you can settle into, and that is your money that's tax-free, right? When you take it out, it's no tax. It's money that you made, but you do have to pay taxes on it in the beginning, and all the growth is tax-free as well. So if you want a number that's the most liquid number, you should put it into a Roth IRA. The other one is your savings account. Now, that one is going to be attacked by inflation. Every dollar that sits in your savings account too long is going to be a dollar that is diminished over time based off of rising costs and the value of the dollar going down. But still your dollar. And it's worth more today than it's going to be in 10 years. And so you want to be able to take advantage of that stuff, and you have to be able to fight inflation on that too. But ultimately, your net worth number is a lie. Make sure you're tracking liquid assets when you're talking about your net worth. Our next topic here is the car you drive is costing you $1.5 million. A $60,000 truck at age 28 is a vote to not retire before 70. What does that mean? Let's start with the math plainly. A $700 a month car payment from age 28, that's $8,400 a year. Invested in an index fund at 7% annual return for 37 years until you're 65 years old is $1.47 million. A car payment is not a car payment, it's a retirement decision. Why do we do it? What's the status trap behind it? Cars in America are not transportation, they're announcements. We buy what signals our tribe, our success, and our identity. The problem is we're making six-figure wealth decisions based on what we want a stranger at the red light to think of us. The stranger will never think of us again. These are impactful things, right? We buy a car to show off to other people. But if you never get out of your car payment, if you never outright own your car so you can pay cash for the next one, you're constantly going to be throwing money away, where that money could go into an appreciating asset, like an IRA account, like a Roth account. You need to put those dollars in the right spots so that you can retire. What millionaires actually drive? The millionaire next door showed, this is actually a data point from Thomas Stanley, showed that most common vehicles American millionaires used were the Toyota Camry and Ford F-150s. Not the Teslas, not the BMWs. The people who look rich in expensive cars are often the least wealthy people in the room. I will say that Tesla on here has gotten a lot cheaper, and I don't necessarily think that's true, but how many BMWs do you see on the road? How many big trucks do you see that are worth $80,000 on the road? How many of you want one? I want one. They're pretty sweet, right? It's not always the best financial decision to do that. Now, there are times in places where it's a marketing choice where you put a cool wrap on a car and it supports a business decision, and that might be a good write-off. And that's where you see a lot of those folks invest those dollars. But for the most part, people that are not buying their cars outright, that are leasing and that are going month-to-month payments, are not really putting those dollars to use so that they can support them in retirement. The total cost of ownership, the number nobody shows you. A $55,000 truck at 7% financing for 60 months is a payment of $1,080 a month. Plus insurance, maintenance, fuel, the total becomes very quickly $1,600 a month or $20,000 a year. That's $100,000 over 5 years to own a depreciating asset. The rule, the total cost of all vehicle payments, insurance, fuel, maintenance should not exceed 15% of your gross income. So if your car is more than 15% of the monthly money you make, you need to make a different decision on that. If you earn $70,000 a year, your total car budget is $875 a month. For most Americans, they're at 25 to 35%. I would even recommend going much further on that. I think that $875 a month is insane if you're making $70K a year. I don't think you should be paying that. I think you should definitely drop down a couple tiers and put those dollars to work in other places. Buy a reliable 2 to 3 year old used vehicle with cash or a very short loan. The biggest depreciation hit will happen in 1 to 2 years. Let someone else eat that. Drive it for 10 years, invest the difference. I could go buy a brand new car for $100,000 right now. I could go to the dealership, pay cash for it, buy a brand new BMW, whatever my heart's desire. I don't do that for a lot of different reasons. I actually drive a pretty crappy Volkswagen Jetta 2015 that's kind of hot. It's got broken stuff, it's got 130,000 miles. It's not a great car. I do this because it's cheap. It gets me from point A to point B. I don't look super sexy in it. Actually, most people make fun of me for driving it. And I don't really care because all those dollars that I would invest into a car, I invest into investment accounts. And guess what? That's a way better investment. It's gonna get me so much further in 40 years. I guess I'm 36 today, so 35 years. And I think that matters because most folks don't want to do that. They don't want to look uncool. They don't want to bring the brown bag lunch to work. And I think this impacts a huge number of Americans. And so it doesn't matter how cool you look. Don't try and look cool. Be smart, invest your dollars in good ways, and live large, have an awesome retirement because of it. Because in 40 years, those folks that bought the nice car, that are living from paycheck to paycheck, that have a bunch of debt because of the decisions they made, they're not gonna have a great retirement. They're gonna have a really, really crappy retirement. But you won't. You can be the difference maker. You can change. Just takes one decision every single day to make you better. Our third and final topic of the day on the Wealth Help Desk is the Wealth Help Desk. Sorry, I went to the window instead. Nobody is coming to save you financially. Social Security will pay enough for you to not starve. That's it. Here's the hard truth up front. The government retirement safety net was designed in 1935 when the average American died at 61 years old. You are now expected to live 80 plus, 90 plus. It's not that uncommon for folks to live much longer. Social Security was never designed to be a retirement plan. It was designed to be a poverty floor, and it's barely clearing it. Social Security math today, the average Social Security benefit in 2025, this was last year, was $1,900. The average rent in the United States was $1,400. That leaves $407 for food, healthcare, transportation, and everything else. And if you live in a big city like Charlotte or Denver or New York City or Dallas or Atlanta, any mid-sized city, you are functionally broke on Social Security alone. You can't rely on it to pay all your bills. And that's what your parents are doing right now. If you're younger and you're watching this, a lot of folks are living on their Social Security checks of $2,000 a month, and that's how they're getting by. For you, if you're younger, Social Security might not even exist, or it might not exist in the form it is today. They're saying that the fund is going to run out in 2033. So what does that mean to you? Well, it's definitely not something you can rely on. I imagine there'll be something that does replace Social Security from an income perspective because there's so many folks that are living on it. It would be a world economic collapse if we just decided not to pay those checks out to anyone anymore. But I think that in the end, there's going to be new rules that you have to abide by, and you should not rely on Social Security as a retirement plan. Sure, it's around today. If you can take it, you should. And ultimately, we'll see what the changes are, but you should have a plan with or without Social Security. Pensions are nearly extinct. In the 1980s, 83% of private sector workers had pensions. Today, it's under 15%. If you work in the private sector, no one is building your retirement for you. The 401k shift put all the responsibility on you, the individual. Now, most individuals weren't trained for this. You didn't get the class on, hey, this is how you manage your retirement. In some cases, you weren't even told. Maybe I'm the first person telling you, by the way, your retirement's completely on you. The employer match is free money though. If you have a 401k, you should take advantage of it, especially if your employer is gonna match 2, 3, 4% on it. Vanguard's How America Saves report, 25% of workers don't contribute enough to get their full employer match. So if 25% of workers are not taking advantage of this, that's people voluntarily leaving free compensation on the table because they haven't thought about it clearly. They didn't get the message that their retirement's on them. The inflation compounds the problem. Even if Social Security keeps up with COLA adjustments, which is the cost of living adjustments, the CPI used doesn't reflect how retirees actually spend. Healthcare and housing inflate faster than the basket. Your real purchasing power on Social Security erodes every year. The dollars today are worth so much more than they are tomorrow. And that's in a volatile market. You could put everything in a very aggressive market, wait 30 years, whatever you had it in is still going to be so much further up than it was. The stock market is the ultimate counter against inflation. So if you have a dollar sitting in a checking account right now, it is at risk. You need to put it in the market. It needs to be working for you. Now, it doesn't have to be the most microchip NVIDIA high volatility tech stock. It can be in something basic like fuel, Exxon, Shell, medical devices, government contracts, anything like that. Some of these are super defensive stocks that normally do pretty well over time. And I promise you over a 30-year period, they're gonna do well for you. Now, there's gonna be dips. In 10 years, it might take a tank and go down 50%. You can't touch it. You have to leave it. If you don't leave it and you pull it out, you're gonna realize that loss and you're gonna look at yourself in 10 years after that and be like, wow, I should have kept that in there because it popped back up 125%. And that's just the way the market works. Over time, it will make money, but you cannot be emotional about the decision to take out money. And that's really, really important in this whole thing, because I know we started this segment about Social Security and what it looks like, but ultimately, have a plan. You need to make sure that you're considering what your plan is. And there's gonna be unknown variables. You're gonna change. And guess what? Your plan can change with you. Make sure you're adjusting, because who you are today, especially when I was a 20-year-old, bro, I didn't know what job I wanted. I didn't know what my career path was. I didn't really have any skills. I was just eager and able. And I think a lot of 20-year-olds face this decision where I grow up and 5 years later, I found out that I loved olives and wine. So I want to spend time going to wineries and drinking different wines and eating cheeses and olives. Well, at 20, I would have been like, no, that sounds lame. I'm not doing that. At 25, I figured out I really like that. And at 30, I bought a wine rack and now I have 150 bottles of wine in my house, partly because of my wife. But I mean, who you are changes over the years. You're gonna get new hobbies. You're gonna find out things that you wanna do in life. And you wanna be prepared. You wanna have the money to be able to do that stuff. And you can only do that if you're not impulse buying every 2 seconds and trying to figure out who you are throughout the years and then building a platform for you to stand on so you can rise up and you can bring others with you. Right, I have a 1-year-old at home, and right now I'm thinking about college for him in 18 years. How can I set up different accounts for him? He's got a Trump account at this point. He's gonna have a Roth IRA when he turns 18 that he's gonna be required to put money in. There's just different things that you're gonna have to figure out for your kids, and you're not thinking about that at 20. You're thinking about trying to find a girlfriend and go to the bar on Friday and how much the drink costs over there, right? And I think your life and perspective change quite a bit when you start looking at, hey, your retirement is on you completely and nobody's gonna come save you.